Do you know? Confined spaces can harbor various hazardous gases that pose significant risks to workers' health and safety. Some of the common gases found in confined spaces include: number 1, carbon monoxide, CO. This colorless and odorless gas is produced by incomplete combustion process. When inhaled, it binds with hemoglobin in the blood, reducing its ability to carry oxygen. Even low levels of carbon monoxide can lead to dizziness, headaches, nausea, and in high concentrations, it can be lethal. It can cause death. The second most dangerous gas, hydrogen sulfide, H2S. This gas is commonly found in sewers, oil and gas operations, and other industrial settings. It has a characteristic rotten egg odor at low concentrations, but at higher levels, it can cause olfactory fatigue, making it difficult to detect. Hydrogen sulfide is highly toxic and can cause respiratory distress, loss of consciousness, and even death. If the concentration is more than 1000 ppm, you need only seconds and you are no more. Number 3, methane, CH4. Methane is a flammable gas commonly associated with natural gas and petroleum operations. It is colorless and odorless, making it difficult to detect without specialized equipment. Methane can form explosive atmospheres when mixed with air, increasing the risk of fires or explosions in confined spaces. And at number 4, oxygen deficiency. Again, a very serious concern. In some confined spaces, oxygen levels may be reduced due to displacement by other gases or a lack of ventilation. Oxygen deficiency can cause dizziness, confusion, loss of consciousness, and ultimately asphyxiation if not addressed promptly and timely. Dear friends and fellows, these gases can have severe health effects on workers exposed to them. They can cause respiratory distress, dizziness, nausea, headaches, and in high concentrations can lead to loss of consciousness or even death. It is crucial to implement proper gas monitoring, ventilation system, and personal protective equipment (PPE) to mitigate the risks associated with these gases and ensure the safety of workers in confined spaces. This is an important question. How to ensure the safety of workers in confined spaces? How to make confined space entry safe and productive? And this is the topic. So, without wasting time, let's get started. Here, as a safety practitioner, as a site in charge, as a construction manager, or even as a project team leader, you need to ensure that proper entry procedures are followed before entering a confined space because it's vital for the safety of workers. I'll give you a detailed explanation of how to ensure compliance with confined space entry procedures. You need to memorize 10 points. Point number 1, conduct a risk assessment. Begin by conducting a thorough risk assessment of the confined space to determine if it meets the criteria for entry. Evaluate the space for potential hazards, atmospheric conditions, and any specific precautions that need to be taken. This is point number 1, and this is the backbone of safe entry procedure. Point number 2, develop a confined space entry program. Establish a comprehensive confined space entry program that includes clear procedures, roles, and responsibilities. This program should outline the steps to be followed before, during, and after entering in the confined space. If the roles and responsibilities are not clear, this will cause confusion, and confusion ultimately leads to violation of safe working procedures. And once the safety procedures are not followed, there is always the chance of potential workplace accidents or incidents. Point number 3, identify authorized personnel. You need to designate trained and authorized personnel who are responsible for overseeing confined space entries. These individuals, staff members, should have a thorough understanding of the entry procedures, hazards, and emergency protocols. Point number 4, perform hazard control measures. Implement necessary control measures to eliminate or minimize hazards. This may involve gas purging, ventilation, lockout tagout procedures, or the use of personal protective equipment. Maybe you need SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus, if there are the gases above the level of permissible limits. Point number 5, issue confined space permits. Require a confined space entry permit before any worker enters the space. The permit should outline the specific tasks to be performed, entry and exit points, time limits, and the presence of required equipment and personnel. Here you need to remember, permit is just a piece of paper, but someone's lives is really in that particular permit. If the safety practitioner, entry supervisor, and the interns and attendants, they are feeling responsibility, they are aware of the dangers associated with the confined space, they will not make any shortcut. They will not make fake permits. And definitely, once they will follow safety, they can protect themselves and they can protect their fellow workers. So, without permit, permit-related confined space is not allowed. You are on the platform of Safety First Life. If you are watching for the first time, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon for all future notifications. And if you find the video informative, then like, comment, and share it with your friends and fellows. Today, we are discussing about the confined space entry procedure, how we can avoid confined space incidents and accidents, how we can make confined space activity safe and productive. Point number 6, conduct pre-entry meeting. Dear friends and fellows, before entering the confined space, hold a pre-entry meeting with all involved personnel. Discuss the hazards, emergency procedures, communication methods, and assigned roles and responsibilities. Ensure that everyone understands their responsibilities and the importance of following the entry procedures. Usually, in a confined space, there is the requirement of an entrant, attendant, gas tester, entry supervisor, safety staff member, and the members of emergency response team. All these people, they should be clear about their responsibilities. They must be trained, experienced, and their equipment is in 100% working order. Point number 7, monitor atmospheric conditions. Continuously monitor the atmospheric conditions within the confined space. Use appropriate gas detection equipment to assess oxygen levels, presence of toxic gases, and flammable substances. If the conditions deviate from safe limits, entry must be halted until it is safe to proceed. Very important point. There is no urgency. And remember, nothing is important more than a personal life. Point number 8, provide proper equipment. You need to ensure that workers have access to and are trained in the proper use of required equipment such as personal protective equipment, fall protection, communication devices, and lighting. Regularly inspect and maintain the equipment to ensure its effectiveness and safe working conditions and limitations. This point is specifically for entry supervisor and the site HSC practitioner. Point number 9, establish communication protocols. Communication is the most important aspect. Establish effective communication systems for workers inside and outside the confined space. This may include radios, hand signals, or other means of communication to facilitate coordination and response in the case of emergencies during confined space entry. The last point, point number 10, conduct regular training and drills. Regularly train workers on confined space entry procedures, hazards, and emergency protocols. Conduct drills to practice emergency response and evacuation procedures. This helps reinforce knowledge and ensures that workers are prepared to respond effectively in real life situations. Dear friends and fellows, by following these detailed measures, 10 basic and mandatory safety tips, organizations can ensure that proper entry procedures are consistently followed before workers enter confined spaces. This significantly reduces the risk of accidents, injuries, and fatalities, promoting a safe working environment for all involved. In the upcoming training session, I'll discuss the key steps would you take to ensure continuous air monitoring in a confined space. And this session will be specially and specifically designed for attendants, entrants, permit issuers, permit receivers, entry supervisors, site HSC practitioners, gas testers, and the emergency response team. Remember, in the world of confined spaces, where risks hide in the shadows, safety becomes our guiding light, protecting us from the hazards that await. Let us understand carefully and stay alert. By prioritizing safety, we can navigate these spaces unharmed and achieve remarkable results or progress. Your safety is my motive, and your safety and life is my dream. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Wish to see you soon with a new HSC tutorial. Until then, take care, good luck, and goodbye.